Welcome to Module 5. We're talking in this module about Chapters 8 and 9. Chapter 8 is the chapter that will give you the most satisfaction, I think, when it comes to actual operation in your company. Because Chapter 8 talks about variance analysis, and in order to get to variance analysis properly, you have to have standard cost. Well, you don't have to have standard cost, but if you don't have standard cost, that winds up taking out part of your calculation, which makes it more difficult to compare. So we're talking about standard cost and how standard costs are determined and how they're used. Why does it make it easier for our accounting if we use standard cost? That's the first part of it. Now, in applying standard costs, we use variance analysis, and variance analysis is what it allows us to determine where anomalies occur either in our operations or in our accounting for operations. So we begin with our standard quantity product at the standard price, and we compare that to actual quantities produced or sold or whatever our measure is at the actual price. We determine from that both a quantity variance and a price variance. Now, depending on what we're talking about, whether it's material or labor, and it could be overhead, because we do have some overhead analysis along the same lines. But what we call it may be slightly different. We may call a price difference a spending difference or spending variance. We may also call a quantity variance an efficiency variance, and it doesn't matter because we're measuring the same thing. We're looking in the efficiency or quantity variance, the difference between our standard quantity at standard price versus what the actual quantity was and what it would have been at standard price. Our price difference or our spending difference is going to be the difference between our actual quantity at the standard price versus the actual quantity at the actual price. There are a lot of nuances to that, and you'll get into that as you proceed through the homework and the examples in the text. Pay attention to those because variance analysis is a very good way of finding out what's actually going on in the company. And I'd encourage you to get as proficient as you can at that. Although sometimes I think you're not going to enjoy it too much. The other chapter we're dealing with is talking about Chapter 9, short-run decision analysis. And short-run decision analysis is going to help us, of course, to make the best decisions in the short run. We talk about two kinds of decisions. One is a strategic decision that addresses the long term. The other is the short term or the tactical decisions, the operational decisions that allow us to do the right thing at this point in time to support what the strategic goals are of the company. But if we don't have a good feel for the strategic goals of the company, then we're not going to be able to implement the best operational tactics for it. This will be, I hope, an interesting application module for you. And I'll be interested in helping you whenever you have problems with it. I'll be interested in hearing your feedback in any case. I hope this offers you a challenge and that you meet it with aplomb.